AlphaGo and Q. Alright, I'm ready. Alright guys, today I'm going to be talking about the consequences of using fast fashion. First of all, what is fast fashion? Fast fashion is cheaply made materials that often come from China or third world countries. You can often buy like common websites or Shein, Temu, or even like the TikTok shop. I know I've seen that like scrolling through TikTok. But I want y'all to imagine this, tons and tons of waste of clothes being dumped in a landfill every single day. That's how fast fashion operates in the world. The United Nations Environmental Program reports that the fashion industry produces tens of millions of waste every single day. Most of it ends up being buried or burned, which is obviously bad for the environment. Things that are burned produce CO2, which does cause climate change, which does have long-term effects for us and our grandkids and just everyone in general. On top of that, the synthetic clothing, like the polyester and nylon that are often found in cheaper clothing, when we wash it, it actually ends up producing microplastics in the water. And researchers from the International Union of Conservation of Nature estimates a large portion of the microplastics in our ocean actually comes from our clothing, which can be very harmful to animals and endangered species. And it's also dangerous to us. Like if you eat fish, you're gonna get microplastics in your body from the fish that we eat. So while you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram and you see influencers looking at hauls or new trends, think of that. Think of the future of us as human beings. What we need to do, fast fashion is a problem for three major reasons: the environment, the workers, and us as humans. First, the environmental damage is massive, and I honestly think if we don't stop, sooner or later there's going to be a point to where there's no coming back. The fashion industry uses enormous amounts of waters, chemicals, and energy. On the waysides, mountains of clothing are dumped worldwide every year. Much of it is made from materials that aren't biodegradable, which means for them to be properly disposed, one, we have to burn it or bury it, which doesn't increase climate change. Secondly, there's a very real human cost. I firmly believe every human has intrinsic value at birth. Organizations like the Human Rights Watch and the U.S. Department of Labor have documented low wages, dangerous working conditions, and exploitation of workers in these factories where these cheap clothing are made. Those $5 shirts and $10 hoodies come at a cost, just not the cost that we see at the checkout counter. It really affects people's lives, the people who are actually making these clothing as well. And thirdly, fast fashion affects us personally. These trendy cycles move really quickly, and we're encouraged to buy, toss again and again, which drains our bank account. Like, it seems cheap, but like there's a new trend every other week. It fills our closets with items we don't even wear. And this speech was directed towards college students. This is my audience, but some of us are super young, and these are really targeted towards us as younger people because we're more susceptible to following the trends, and it can really be a financial burden if you continue. And the problem is real, and it's getting a lot worse. We can't fix everything today, but we can change our habits and influence others. So I want to talk about things that we can actually change in our daily lives to reduce what we can at a lower level to decrease the amount of waste to the environment and just in general, because it just takes one person at a time. Firstly, this is my favorite. Buy secondhand. Thrift stores are amazing. Online resale apps, or even like, I know for us in the military, like if you have a kid, oftentimes you can get used clothes from other parents instead of having to go out and buy brand new clothes when the kid's going to outgrow them in a few months anyways. I know I've done that just growing up with my family. Like, I'd always get my siblings or other family members clothing. I personally like to go thrifting, not because it's cheap, well, not only because it's cheap, but it's also fun to see all the different fashions, and like, you never know what you're gonna find at a thrift store. Like, sometimes I find brands that I can't afford. Like, I can't afford Patagonia, but I find it at a thrift store. Secondly, take care of the clothes you already own. It kind of seems weird. This one's not easy for me because I don't know how to sew or anything like that. But basic repair, proper washing, and simple fixes can make clothes last for years. Also, it reduces the microplastic shedding from our synthetic fibers. Thirdly, when you buy new, buy better. It might cost a little bit more at first, but choose fewer pieces that last longer. Even like sustainable researchers show that from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation that recommends shifting circular mindset, reuse, repair, and recycle, and reduce overall consumption. These changes don't require spending more money. In fact, it often saves us money by buying less and making it last longer. Now imagine this, clothes, like imagine if we don't stop. That's what I'm trying to say. Like imagine if we don't stop. Like as Americans in the Western society, I feel like we have the tendency to overbuy and overdo things. And if we don't stop that mindset, it's not going to get better. It's going to continue to get worse. But on the opposite side, we can change it by, as I said, just choosing one of those things and just changing our buying habits in general. Here's my challenge to you, something that you can actually start today. Over the next 3 weeks, only buy secondhand clothing. Only choose one because I think it's really unrealistic. Only buy secondhand clothing. Repair or alter at least one item you have. This one I think is a little bit more realistic, just to start out. Wait 72 hours before buying new clothing. And when you buy something new, try to donate something that you're not going to wear anymore, so you're not throwing it away. I think that's a little bit more realistic for everyday people. So if you're willing to try it, even just for 3 weeks, you're already a part of the solution. Fast fashion might look cheap at the checkout, but we pay for it later. Through pollution of our oceans, overfilled landfills, and exploitation of workers. And keep in mind, these workers are often children too, in third world countries. If we can change the way we buy and it can change the impact that we have in the world. Let's stop feeding fast fashion and let's choose better starting today. Thank you.